What's up, Flick Connection? This is Darren, and today I want to take a brief break from movies and talk to you a little bit about my first year on YouTube, what it's been like, what I learned, what I'm getting out of it, how much money I'm making on it, all of that. We're going to cover that, and then I'll be back with more movie stuff later this week. So I just want to take a minute and tell you kind of what my first year has been like. I'm sure some of you are interested, and then some people who aren't even familiar with the channel are probably going to find this and be interested. So I've got some interesting thoughts on YouTube. It's been a very interesting year on YouTube. For those of you that don't know, there's been a big demonetization story going on. You've probably heard that word by now. Basically, what has been happening to all sorts of YouTube creators is their videos are getting demonetized by an algorithm. This happened because some major brands left YouTube because they didn't like some of the videos or content was showing up on, and it's sort of a knee-jerk reaction, and YouTube has created this thing that demonetizes videos all the time. I never really talk about anything controversial, and most of my content's fairly family friendly with maybe a few exceptions. But that said, just straightforward stuff where I'm talking about movies that are on platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime. For the most part, almost every video I put out gets demonetized automatically, and then tends to come down after a day or so. There's been a couple of stretches where that hasn't happened, but I do have a couple of videos currently that are demonetized, which means I make no money on them, and it's frustrating. The reason I'm going on about this is because it was very difficult in the first year to stay motivated. Now, my first year on YouTube, I really didn't plan on making any money, but to see your videos getting demonetized, you don't know if they're getting throttled down and they're not getting the views that they should be getting, but I can say I just powered through it. It was frustrating because I felt like I'd do work on something and then people wouldn't see it because it got hit with this demonetization by a robot that was mistaken. You know, it shouldn't have been demonetized, and now people aren't going to see it. And why am I putting effort into a video if only 50 people are going to see it? And trust me, I have plenty of videos that have well below 100 views, and that's part of it. That's part of what the first year is. You've got to muscle through that. You know, the demonetization made me want to quit, just because it's a lot of work for essentially no payoff. So you have to just want to do it. And then, you know, my motivation during the demonetization was to say, well, if I'm this frustrated, I'm sure there's some other people that are letting it eliminate them. They're letting it just frustrate them to the point that they quit, and that just leaves more room for everyone else that's powering through it to thrive when this algorithm finally figures out how to not demonetize quality videos that don't hurt anybody. Now, as far as growth, if you are thinking about starting a YouTube channel, you need to know some things. First off, you can't really get away with doing just one video a week unless you need that much time to create it, and you're doing something of such high quality that people are just going to love it, and they're going to share it, and they're going to watch it from beginning to end, and the watch time is going to be high. So many things have to go well for a video with no views and a channel with no views to get views. So I wouldn't really count on that. YouTube does seem to favor quantity over quality. Now, that doesn't mean to put out garbage, because nobody will watch that either. But if you can put out 3 videos that each get 100 views in a week within your first couple of months, that's better than maybe one video that gets 300 views. YouTube would then want to recommend you more. There's more videos and more content out there to be recommended. So I'd noticed things really start to pick up for my channel when I started doing 3 videos a week. A few months ago, I started doing one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and that has worked out really well. I did see an increase when I went from 1 to 2, and I started with 1, and it was a lot of work for me to create a video. I have no background in this. I completely use my phone for everything. I just had it on a little $20 tripod close to my face. Didn't have a professional microphone, which I highly recommend, but you can just shoot these things on your phone. I have a better camera now and a couple of lights. That's literally it. But you can do this on your phone. If you use good daylight, your phone is going to look great. So that's a hack right there. And then make a lot of them and make them interesting, make them good. That tends to work. The more I made, the faster my growth has happened. And then essentially what happened was, I was basically on pace to maybe get 1,000 subscribers in my first year. Or I started in March, and then by the end of that calendar year, by the end of 2017, I wanted to hit 1,000 subscribers. And I was on pace, but I'm like, I gotta start doing 2 a week if I really want to catch this. And I stuck with that. I got very consistent with it. And I think 2 days after Thanksgiving, I broke 1,000 subscribers. So I was really happy with that. And my subscriber rate started to go up through Christmas, just a little bit, on into January, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'm getting in bed on a Saturday night, and I just happened to check my analytics on my phone, and my views were just going up. I mean, it was a few hundred views in an hour. I woke up in the morning and I was getting well over 1,000 views an hour mostly on one particular video. So I had a video about the top 10 horror movies on Netflix that I made back in October for Halloween. It suddenly started to go a little nuts on me. And then a couple of other videos that recommended Netflix movies, like one about zombie movies, one about just dark movies on Netflix. Those piggybacked on it because they got recommended, and they started to get a lot of views. And then suddenly the channel's getting a bunch of views, and my subscriber count's going up. I hit 2,000 within a couple of weeks, and then a few weeks later, I say a few weeks later, about a month later, I broke 5,000, and I broke it. I planned to maybe hit 5,000 in 2018. That was my goal, was to break 5,000 subscribers before the end of 2018. At the time of filming this, I'm getting close to 8,000 subscribers, and so you can see how it just starts to replicate. Now, in order to do that, I made videos consistently, which was hard. I haven't touched a PlayStation 4 in... It's back there. It's lonely. I haven't touched it hardly at all since I started YouTube. I just spend my time on this. When I have free time, I spend my time on this because I've got a full-time day job, 9 to 5. I've got a son, about to have a little girl any day this week, and I'm going to continue to make these videos because people keep watching them. I get real positive feedback in the comments section. I expected YouTube to really be sort of just a cesspool of negativity in the comments, and it's there. Trust me, it's there. But there's been a lot of positivity, way more than the negative. So I want to keep making videos for that reason. And as long as I see an audience, I'm going to keep making them. But I would say if you're interested in starting your own channel, you need to be prepared for it to take a long time. You're going to create stuff. You're going to put work into videos that no one's going to see. That's just going to happen. You're going to put less work into some videos and people are going to see them. There's just not going to be any telling as to what's going to work for you. And then eventually it might take 30, 40, 50, maybe 100 videos uploaded, but eventually something will start to click and you'll say, oh, people like this. Let me do something else to piggyback off of that. And you don't make all of your content like that, but now with the success of my Netflix lists, I do one every single Wednesday. People count on it getting released. It gets thousands of views before I go to bed that night, and it does really well. It goes on. I'm using the other 2 days a week to sort of experiment with different things. Right now I've got a format that seems to be working really well for me, where I focus on one movie, I really tear it apart, analyze it, give you fun facts about it. That format is starting to take off, so I'm kind of sticking with that at least one of the days of the week, and then the other day is all for experimenting. I'm just seeing what works. I'm doing this one because I've just really wanted to share my experience on YouTube with anybody that's interested, and I just felt like a Monday, that's a good slot, that's flexible, I can do that then. So I'm experimenting, I'm being consistent, and I'm working things out all at the same time. And that seems to work. There's not too many things you can do externally regarding YouTube that I've found. I mean, there are suggestions out there, but nothing really worked for me. I've got a pretty good Instagram following of almost 80,000 followers, and I can barely get any of them to come here. If you are an original Instagram follower, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, but I kind of feel like I might be hearing crickets on that one. Point being, you really have to do the work in YouTube. You got to put the content up. You got to figure out what people want to watch. You got to look at, I think you got to look at the data all the time. I'm kind of a data hound anyway, so I do that naturally, but that has really helped. I look at it all the time and I figure out, okay, that worked better, so let me do more of that, and it really works. I'm very, very excited to see what happens from here. For Forgive me. I said I was going to tell you how much I make. Basically, what has happened is coming into the new year, I started making a couple of bucks a day. I was getting enough views where, you know, that took maybe 2,000 views a day on average, and it translated to let's say $2 a day on average. And then it started to go up a little bit, and then it had the huge spike where it just skyrocketed and it came right back down. But I picked up a bunch of subscribers during that spike, and so it didn't come all the way back down. I had more views, and then I started making about $5 a day. And then I started making $10 a day. And then 15, 12, in there with, I think, roughly about that many thousand, about $1 per 1,000 views. And then that started to go up a little bit, where it's a little closer to $2 per 1,000 views. And now at the moment, it's hard to say, but the last couple of days, it's looking like it's like $30 a day. So maybe anywhere from $600 to $900 in the next 4 weeks if things stay consistent. Now, I'm not seeing any indication that anything's on the decline back down, but that's essentially what's happening right now. I'm in kind of the early stages of starting to grow, and I'm having to make sure I stay on top of it. I'm not missing a video. Like I said, I've got a daughter due anytime now. Wife could go into labor at any moment, and I'm up here recording videos because I've got ideas in my head I want to get out, and because I know I need to stay consistent with my Monday, Wednesday, Friday post. That doesn't mean you need to do that, and it doesn't mean that there's a specific time you need to post, but I think in that first year, that's where you work that stuff out, and that's where you figure it out. Another just little piece of input here as we wrap up. I debated on maybe even starting YouTube. The one thing that maybe was going to deter me from it all along has been that, is it too late? A lot of people are saying it's too late, you missed the wave. I disagree. I think part of that's true. Had I started a couple of years ago, I'd be way ahead than where I'm going to be in a couple of years from now, probably. But there's going to be even more people getting on YouTube next year and the year after that. There's going to be more people, more creators starting up, more and more. It's going to get more and more competitive. So the best time to get on YouTube is right now. It might have been a little bit better last year. That's okay. It's better now than it will be next year. I really, really believe that. So I'd say if you want to do it, just start doing it. Don't worry about the content that you first put out. Make it as good as you can make it, but don't obsess over it. Just put it out. That way you can do the next one. Don't obsess over it, make it good, put it up. Then you can work on the next one. In each one, you should start to improve and figure things out, and they get better and better, and you get faster and faster, and you can do more and more content. I think that's really the way to go. If you think this may have helped you, if you're looking to start or you're just getting started and you wanted to know maybe what a first year looked like, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I probably will reply to you. But thanks for watching this one. I know it's a little unusual for me. I'll be back with Netflix recommendations on Wednesday. But thanks for watching this one, and you will see me next time.